You're listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast, celebrating hunting dog heritage, competition, and community. United Kennel Club has been the hunting dog sports home for coonhounds, beagles, retrievers, pointers, cur, feist, and more for over 125 years.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. This is Trevor Wade. I'll be your host today, and I'm joined by the Director of Hunting Ops, Alan Gingrich. How you doing today, Alan?
Very well today.
Yeah. So we're here. We're finally at the beginning of May here. So of course, we had a little bit of snow yesterday, so that was good.
Yeah, winter we just can't get rid of it, seems like.
It seems like spring comes for a day or two, and then we go right back. Can't make up its mind at all.
I know. May 1st, it was snowing. Just talked to somebody up in the northern part of the state. They said it's covered up there.
Yeah.
May 1st. Crazy.
Yeah. So so your spring travel season's kind of wrapped up now, I guess, right?
It kind of is. It's kind of nice. It's been a busy spring, a good spring. We've had some great events this year. Kicked off with as far as our events go, the Winter Classic, and had our Gun Dog National Championship Winter Classic. What else do we have? The Eliminators, the McVeigh, or the NHPA days, and our TOC, and our nationals. So yeah,
just listening to the Feist World interview the other day. That was a good one. Yeah. So there's a lot of good content to go back and hear all about the spring season. But I guess now during this you don't have much going on until I guess fall now, or
Autumn Oaks really is the next big one. I don't know what you have for me in terms of breed events this year, if you're leaving any for me at all or not, but we'll find out, I guess.
Hey, I'm kind of excited for breed day events this year. Sounds like Taylor, our director of registration, is going to be with me at a few of them. We're going to Black and Tan days this weekend. We got bluetick days coming up. There's one or two of them that she wasn't going to be able to make it to, but we got a full slate here over the next 5 or 6 weeks where we got 5 of them coming up, and I'm excited to get out. I haven't really, outside of a few, I haven't traveled very much this year so far. Yeah, you mentioned that, there for a little while, they really got caught up with the registration stuff, and then they found themselves behind again a little bit. A lot of it has to do with the fee increases for, a lot of folks still have the old forms with the old fees. So that slowed us down a little bit, got us behind again. But she is going with you to these events and help you with that. And this is a good time folks should bring their paperwork there to the breed day events, and you guys can take care of it there, bring it back with you, and don't hesitate to approach the table. Exactly. I know I've been there and been nervous to approach the UKC table for whatever reason back in the day, but you're scared of me. She's gonna have all the stuff there to where she can process paperwork or resolve your problems right there on site. Whereas usually when you come up to me, my internet's not working. I got to take notes and take them back to figure out what's going wrong. She's going to have access to most all of our system and be able to get you squared away. Yeah. So yeah, folks, bring your stuff and turn it into her there, and be a good time to ask her any questions you might have about anything. So, but they are working hard to try to fix the problem, get caught back up, and I'm confident they'll do just that. Yeah. So when I say she's going to be at the events, outside of one or two that she may have to leave early on or not be able to make it because of sketch, obviously she still has to do to manage the registration department here in the office, but Black and Tan days, blue tick days, English days, plot days, and red bone days. Those are ones that she's planning on coming to at least. So you can National Red Bone Day, so you can make plans to come to some of those. Hopefully. Yeah, we're recording this on like the first weekend here in May, which is Black and Tan days is coming up this weekend. So Black and Tan days will be over by the time this airs. But yeah, most of the others will still be on the docket, I guess. Might put something on social media and try to make people aware of that. So, well, as we kind of shift this way, one of our programs is kind of ending for the year, kind of strange in the middle of the year, but the way our youth stuff falls and runs with our youth nationals coming up in late July, we have our Next Generation Spotlight Series that runs from June 1st to May 31st. So this will be the last month for it. So we'll talk more about standings and whatnot after we finalize it and get towards youth nationals, where we're going to recognize those kids who won their age group at the Spotlight Series. But one thing we want to talk about right now is that we're actually shifting. If you go back to episode 2 of this, one of the first episodes that we released of this podcast, You'll hear us talk about the youth programs in depth. And one of the things that we talked about was the new junior handler enrollment form.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of shifting from doing it manually, keeping tabs of Spotlight Series points in a spreadsheet, to wanting to do it through our program here that we have in the office and just take out the human element of it, make it easier on clubs, make it easier on the kids, and make it easier for the people here in the office processing the reports. This is something that you've already made these changes in a couple of your programs. Your Beagle Gun Dog youth program and your Hunting Beagle youth program have already made these changes, and they're going pretty well, I assume.
It is. It's just a better way, a more accurate way for us to have these point standings and everything, and takes out the human element of it. As far as before, we just did everything on a spreadsheet, and that's not bad. If you don't have that many, but the programs are so big anymore. This is just a better way to do it. But yeah, so the kids do have a if they fill out that profile form that you mentioned, we then send them a little card, a little membership card, youth handler card, I guess. It looks like your easy entry card, same paper stock, but it has the youth and number for the youth. And what it is, it's very simple. So it's the first 4 numbers are the birth year of the youth. And then the next 2 numbers are the birth month and then the birth day. So it's those numbers. And then the last 3 numbers are 001. Unless there's already a kid in the system that has the exact same birth date, the next kid would be 002 or 003.
Yeah.
So that's the number. So, but it's very important, and the other thing that helps a lot, we're getting some reports where kids aren't putting their number in because they don't have it with them or don't remember it. But they should always try to have it with them. Take a picture of your card when you get it, have it on your phone, and make sure you get that number on the report form.
Because that number is never going to change for you. You're going to have that same youth number for the duration of your youth.
Exactly. But no, to answer you, it's been working very well in our Beagle stuff. So you'll see the same thing here.
Yeah, and you mentioned the cards. A lot of Coonhound kids have turned in these youth enrollment forms. They don't have their cards yet. It sounds like that's going to go out in a big batch here. And maybe by the time you listen to this, it may already be out, because I know they're proofing that list right now and getting it out to the youth that have got their junior handler enrollment forms in. So as we make our transition and get ready for June, we're full steam ahead on this. And what that means is starting June 1st, any youth events after that, we're not going to be able to apply points to a kid's records in our system unless they have a junior handler enrollment form in and they're in our program. So it's going to be imperative that you get one of those filled out. And just a couple of different ways to get it. First off, I'll be at a lot of major events this spring, summer, and into the fall. Come see me at the table. I'll have a bunch of them at every one. You can easily get it filled out. Take a couple minutes to fill it out. It's just your contact information, basically, and get it turned right back into me. I can take it to the office and get you in there the next day. It's on our website. Obviously, it lives on our website. You can find it both under the YEP event page and also the Next Generation Spotlight Series page. They should be going out with their all YEP or Youth Championship packets. There should be at least a couple of them in there. If you need more, you may have to make copies. If you're a host club hosting a YEP event, want to have plenty on hand for all of them. And you can actually just get them to fill them out and send them right in with your report. Would be an awesome way to do it.
That's right. Or then if they need to request one from us, Hunting Ops email is your friend for corresponding with our team in the Hunting Ops department. huntingops@ukcdogs.com. Shoot an email, request one. We can shoot one right over to you too.
Yeah, that's a lot of times if somebody emails us directly, if I'm on the road I'll be on the road for 3 weeks in a row there at the beginning of June and only in the office for a day or two each time. And sometimes it's hard to keep up with the email when you're doing that kind of schedule. So emailing the Hunting Ops at UKC Dogs is a great way to get in touch with our department, because the whole department has access to that email and we stay up to date on it daily. So that's a great way to get in touch with us. And the last thing, I actually just finished writing the advisor column for June, and I actually talked about the junior handler enrollment form in there. And I'm going to have Grayson with Publications include a page of the magazine and just make it an enrollment form. You can easily tear it out or take a picture of it after you fill it out and send it in that way. So there's a lot of different ways to get it. And if you're having trouble getting it, just reach out to us and we'll get one to you. But we need to make sure we have those in hopefully before June, because I don't want to lose out on any points. Another new thing that you've been working pretty closely on this one the past couple of weeks as we make this transition with some of our licensed event coordinators upstairs is a new confirmation form and procedure we're putting in place. We've kind of shifted away with some of the new printers we have. Some of the older printers, the Tractor Vet printers, are now no longer in use, and we've kind of done away with the monthly batches of confirmation forms that we send out to clubs every month for the for their events coming up in 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, the form you're speaking of is the one that we send to clubs that has their event date on it, that we mail to them, and they fill out the entry fees and the entry deadlines they want for that event. They return it back to us. So that's the form you were talking about. So yeah, that one's going to go away as far as mail goes.
That's right.
We have a new form that is, well, I'll let you talk about it. You've got some notes here on it. So,
well, I do have some notes. Yeah. And I think that we've all seen as a department, as a company, that there's a big shift towards electronic lately. People are clamoring for more and more electronic ways. We're making the change in the Next Generation Spotlight Series, going electronic with that youth handler enrollment form. Now we're making the change here just because we've had more and more clubs that are confirming their events by not mailing this in, but by getting a hold of us by phone or emailing us all their events at the beginning with their confirmation details and data, which would be, like you said, their deadlines, their entry fees, how long they're hunting for, is this a sectional, more event details. They're emailing and calling that stuff in rather than mailing in the form. And it's just, honestly, it's just wasting a lot of paper and time, honestly. And it's just not the most efficient way to do things anymore.
No, not especially with somebody that has email and somebody that's half handy on it with a computer. If I can do it, I'm sure most coon clubs or most clubs will have their corresponding officer or an officer that is capable of handling that. And they're going to find it so much more efficient, so much easier. You know, a PDF is one where they just, the form itself, you know, it asks for your club name, your ID, the date of your event, and then you just check the boxes on what events you're going to have, what your fees are going to be, your deadlines. The other thing that's going to be easy for them, make it very easy, is that generally a lot of their events have the same deadlines and same entry fees for the year. It might change a little bit in the summertime, but whoever is filling that out, fill it out one time, and after that, you might just have to tweak a few little things here and there.
Change the date
for the event date, right? Yeah. And a few little things. They get used to it. They're going to find out it's super simple, and they're gonna love it. You know, I know some folks that maybe aren't used to this right now are going to think, well, that's just something new. It's going to be a hassle for us, and give it a chance. I think once they get used to it, they're gonna love it.
Yeah.
So much easier. Forget about the mail. You can then also save it to your own files. You'll always have a copy of what it is that you sent UKC, and it's just a matter of hitting a button, and boom, it's in the UKC office.
Yeah. So the initial rollout here is basically each club's going to get a packet in the mail from us that's going to have a few different things in it. First, it's going to have you made a letter kind of detailing how the information sheet works and the process of it and some of the reasons for it and that sort of thing. So that's going to be the first sheet. They're going to have the sample confirmation form, which is the essential data confirmation form that you can find. That's going to be our new form that we're going to use for everything. And then also a list of your club's tentatively scheduled events for the rest of 2023.
Right.
So that's from July 1st to December 31st, all the dates that are tentatively on the club schedules that haven't been confirmed yet.
Yeah. And then come October this fall, we will send them the first 6 months, like January through June. We'll send the clubs their dates for that. The reason we can't give them for the full calendar year, we can if they request it, but as far as the system pulling it up, it doesn't until a club has been or an event has been held. It doesn't actually pop up on their next year's calendar. Right. In other words, so just as an example, right now we're here in the first week in May. So right now the last week in April now shows up. Those events show up for April of 2024 for all those clubs, but not May yet because we've not done anything yet in May. But as soon as that event is held, then it will appear on the calendar. And that's why we can't give them the whole year in October, because we wouldn't have November and December in there. It's what it amounts to.
Yep.
So we're just going to split it up in 6 months.
Yeah. So you kind of mentioned a little bit, but there's two things that are going to make this super easy for clubs. And the first thing is to have an updated officer form on file with UKC. Most clubs do really good at updating their officers as they have elections through the year. Some of them we haven't had updates since 2010, but we're also going to include an officer update form in their packet that we're sending them, sound like. And those are being mailed just here soon. Hopefully by the time you listen to this, you may already start seeing those rolling in. But having the updated corresponding officer is going to be essential, because that's where we're going to be mailing this to, and you want to get the right information available. And the second thing is that corresponding officer, it needs to be somebody that is proficient and capable of emailing back and forth. In these days and time, it's almost it's essential. That's
It is.
no other way to say it.
It really is. And probably about the time this podcast comes out is when clubs are going to start getting these letters. And those are only going to be clubs that have events from July on.
Yeah.
So if your club doesn't have an event from now until the rest of the year, you may not be getting one of these until come October.
Or if you've already confirmed your events for the whole year, which a lot of clubs do.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I will tell you, we do a lot of things with our phones, iPhones and such, these days. This form that we're talking about, you can do it on an iPhone, but it is not going to be very customer friendly. That, somebody with a PC is going to be a lot more friendlier.
Yeah. Yeah, and just one more thing, we talk all the time about you go to the local club, a lot of the people doing a lot of the brunt work sometimes are up there in age, and there has to be a way to get the younger generation involved, give them some tasks, give them some responsibility.
This is one of them.
Perfect way to do it here. Get someone involved, kind of make this their priority, make them feel like, they're an integral part of the club, and give them some responsibility, and you're liable to see more effort from that age group if you do so.
Very good idea. Very good idea. And they can always have the information there for all the club members, their officers, to see what they have sent in and all this and that, So
yeah. And then the final goal of this, the last thing I put here, it's going to take a lot of the inefficiencies out of the system. We've had a ton of trouble, and we obviously the registration issues are well known and out there, but in the hunting ops department we fight it all the time of clubs that have mailed in reports, they've mailed in their confirmations. Now we're a week from the event, we never got their confirmation form in the mail. You can't confirm an event a week out. We're still having trouble that there's floating around in no man's land out there, these confirmation forms, and this is going to take that step out, and I think it's going to work better for the clubs. It's going to make their life a lot simpler.
Yeah. One of the questions we're going to get is how they're going to pay for their events. They can mail a check just like they did before after the event, or they can always call with payment. And hopefully before long, we'll also have a portal where they can go to pay. Hopefully eventually down the road that's coming. Has to.
Yeah. Right.
And it will eventually.
Right. Well, if you were, we'll kind of shift gears here now. We're going to talk about some bench show dogs. We talked about back in episode 44, we were going to talk about Grand Champion Hall of Fame dogs. We started out with the black and tan and leopards. There's just so many of them that it's hard to knock them all out in one sitting you wouldn't be able to give them all their due credit if you were to do that. So today we're going to work on blue ticks, which is one of our bigger ones. There's 18 dogs in the blue tick breed that have achieved the Grand Champion Hall of Fame title as of February 28th. We're going to keep working on that February 28th list because we have a plan going forward. After we're done with this initial run through, we're going to shift and just start doing dogs as they make the title on episodes as we go. And it's going to make it a lot easier to just pinpoint and give the dogs their recognition as we go.
Yeah.
So starting out with the blue ticks today, we had 18 of them, like I said, split right down the middle. 9 males and 9 females have achieved the Grand Champion Hall of Fame title. And the very first blue tick to achieve that title was Grand Water Champion 3, Grand Field Champion, Grand Champion Hall of Fame, E-Town's Blue Helicopter Alley HTX. This is a female born in May of 2010, owned by Gary Young of Eleanor, West Virginia.
Yeah, the sire is Jet's Northern Blue Airplane, and the dam is Storman's Blue Holler Molly, bred by Mike Janke. This dog has 45 Grand Champion wins total and earned the degree in October of 2013. So this was one of the dogs that already had that many grand wins before we even had this program.
Right.
And fell into the, as one of the eligibles, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah, Gary Young, he's not only the owner of Alley there, but also of our next dog here. So one that was obviously running the roads and supporting local level bench shows even way back before he had this opportunity. Another
dog, same age bracket, 2012 for this next dog, yeah.
Yeah, this next one is Grand Night Champion, Grand Water Champion, Grand Field Champion, Grand Champion Hall of Fame, E-Town's Blue Ranger 2 HTX. This is a male blue tick born in March of 2012, and again, owned by Gary Young of Eleanor, West Virginia.
Yeah, decorated sire here as well. Grand Field Champion, Grand Night Champion, Grand Water Champion, Grand Champion, Newsom's Mud River Ranger HTX, and the dam is Champion Thacker's Blue Pepper HTX, bred by Mr. Gary Young. 56 Grand Champion wins earned in May of 2015.
Gary, one that helped us out with an assignment not too long ago when he went with Jamie to work one of our TOC regions, I remember.
So. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We've had the Youth Nationals over there at his club before. He's a big help over there. Yep.
That whole club does so good with
They do.
Or that whole area.
Yep.
Third one here is Grand Champion Hall of Fame, Stonewall Jackson, Heart of Tennessee. This is a male blue tick born in June of 2013, owned by Sidney Durham and Bill Tuck of Whitwell, Tennessee.
Yeah, this dog's out of a hunting bred dog. Grand Night Champion Grub Southern Blue Scooter and Night Champion Grand Champion Shelton's Blue Betty Lou, bred by J.W. Teasley of Kentucky. Has 116 Grand Champion wins, earned it in May of 2015. Another one of those. 116 Grand Champion wins. Crazy.
Wow.
Bill Tuck is a guy we see at Autumn Oaks, the World Show. He's always got a dog or two in there. And I remember this dog just showing around the circuit, 10 years ago or so, 10 years ago, I guess, 5 years ago, Stonewall Jackson, but just a nice hound.
Yeah, absolutely. Must be 116. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Next one here is going to be kind of a familiar name. Confirmation Champion, Grand Champion Hall of Fame, Rockin' W's GR's Only Prettier. This is a female born in January of 2010, owned by TJ Daniels of Johnstown, Ohio.
Yeah, this dog is out of Grand Champion Razor Ridge Papa Top again, and Grand Night Champion, Grand Champion Tree Thumpin' Amazing Grace, bred by Jody and Whitney Killoff. There are 52 Grand Champion wins earned in June of 2015 for Rockin' W's Only Prettier.
Another familiar name on here that we just talked about. They got another one on the list. Grand Champion Hall of Fame Volunteer Blue Sweet Tea. This is a female born in July of 2014, owned again by Bill Tuck and Sidney Durham of Jasper, Tennessee.
Yeah, this dog's off a Teasley dog again. Champion, Night Champion Teasley, C&M Southern Blue Slick Sam, and Barnes Blue Ruth is the dam. Bred by Mr. Bill Tuck. 69 Grand Champion wins total, earned in February of 2016 already. We mentioned some of these old, these dates from several years ago or whatever. As we move forward, we won't be seeing these anymore. These are all going to be the first ones to pop up, I guess. But it's good to see some of these old hounds that had that many wins back in the day that are still on the eligible in that category or in that time frame to be eligible for it. So, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of got to be appreciative of people like that, because at that time, what are they, you're going around and winning 70 Grand Champion shows. What are you really doing besides just supporting the clubs in your area?
Yeah.
You're just there as an entry. You're there. You're probably getting something from the kitchen. You're there to talk around to people, enjoy people's company, and it's kind of the lifeblood of the local level scene there.
Yeah, and that goes back to the question, when did we start this? What year? It was pups born or dogs born in 2010 and later. I think that fit into this realm here. So picked up any dogs in that time frame.
Our next one on our list here as we move along is Field Champion, Grand Champion Hall of Fame, Allen's Blue Deuce Amy. This is a female born in August of 2011, owned by Alan Moore of Rivesville, West Virginia.
Yeah, this dog's sired by Grand Night Champion, Grand Champion Bowen's Blue Deuce, and Night Champion, Grand Champion Green's Oklahoma River Crybaby is the dam. Bred by Zach Bowen, 69 Grand Champion wins total, earned in September of 2016.
This next one here is one a show or two I know. This is National Grand Champion, Confirmation Champion, Grand Champion Hall of Fame, Spanky's Rockin' Blue Pop Cap. This is a male blue tick born in January of 2012, owned by Lori Galbraith, Autumn Huffman, and Chris Tracy of Cabot, Arkansas, where Lori's from.
Sire again here is Razor Ridge Papa Top again, and the dam is Tree Thumpin' Amazing Grace. That's the same cross of another dog we just mentioned here a couple dogs ago. Bred by Whitney Killoff, 62 Grand Champion wins, earned in August of 2018 for Spanky's Rockin' Blue Pop Cap. You mentioned he's a national grand champion. This dog has won a lot all over the country. He's been just a super nice dog. It was showing up until recently, really, and is still just looking really nice still today.
We talk a lot about some of these dogs you never heard of before, and maybe some people you haven't heard of that run the roads maybe at their local events and get this degree just by sheer numbers. That's one that you like to see on the list, because that's one that's been showing at every major event across the country for the past, 6, 7, 8 years, and winning everywhere they go. And it's good to see a dog of that caliber on this list that was able to not only get the big wins, but also get a large quantity of wins as well. It looks like we got another Rockin' W's dog here, Grand Champion Hall of Fame, Confirmation Champion, Rockin' W's I'll Have Another. This is a male born in April of 2012, owned by Whitney Killow and Shauna and Brooke Hudson of Cabot, Arkansas.
Named after a racehorse, actually. Out of Grand Champion, Razor Ridge, Papa Top again. There he is again. This time a different female, though. Night Champion, Grand Champion, Uchman's Gracie Mini-Me, bred by Jody and Whitney Kelloff. 48 Grand Champion wins, earned the degree in May of 2019 for I'll Have Another.
Our earn dates are getting closer and closer to the time whenever this was implemented.
Speaking of racehorses, that horse ran in the Kentucky Derby. I don't remember what year, but I'm pretty sure that horse ran in the Derby. Which this is Derby week too.
Derby week. By the time you listen to this, it'll be old news, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's coming up. Next one on our list here is Night Champion, Confirmation Champion, Grand Champion Hall of Fame, Southern Flame, Bad Moon Rising. This is a male blue tick born in February of 2012. Owned by Mike and Myra Seats of Stoneford, Illinois.
Dog is off of Confirmation Champion, Grand Champion, Southern Flame, Bad News Bandit, a dog that was won a lot back in the day. And the dam is Southern Flame, Too Hot to Trot, bred by Cynthia Grooms and Gerald Black. Cynthia used to own the dam and the dam and the sire here. And 50 Grand Champion wins total, earned the degree in May of 2019 for Bad Moon Rising. Hall of Fame.
As we get closer here, and we talked a little bit about it on the episode where we went over black and tans and leopards, but you're going to see a little bit of fluctuation by that total of Grand Champion wins here. And that's just because that number to make champion and Grand Champion hasn't always been the same. Obviously, when the rule changed, we went from 5 champion wins to 8, and now with some of the multipliers. So won't always be 50 on the dot. As we see, this next dog only had 48, but the way it worked out when he earned his titles was enough to make Grand Champion Hall of Fame. So this next one here is Grand Champion Hall of Fame, Waters Dog River Timber 2. This is a male blue tick born in September of 2016, owned by Mark and Sherry Waters of Northfield, Vermont.
Northeastern dog here. So just because they're kind of not in the mainstream of where a lot of the bench shows are at, is a good example of a dog that's still earned this title. The dog is sired by Grand Night Champion Delwood Blue Zero, and the dam is Night Champion, Grand Champion Lady Lux Green Mountain Gin Do It, bred by Megan Fleming's. 48 Grand Champion wins, like you mentioned, and the degree was earned in September of 2019.
The next one here is owned by my buddy Lee Hogan. I feel like I see this guy at every major event I go to. As long as they do have water race and field trials, he'll drive a piece for them. And I'd like to say he must be the one paying my salary with all of his entries, because he'll bring 6, 7, 8 dogs down from Wisconsin to a breed day event, and it's evident that he's as I'm going to read the dog's name here, it becomes evident that he's very supportive of the clubs.
All the titles on this dog.
Confirmation Grand Champion, Grand Water Champion 3, Grand Night Champion 3, Grand Field Champion Hall of Fame, Grand Champion Hall of Fame, PR Hogan's Ruby, HTX 4. Actually, our only Grand Field Champion Hall of Fame dog currently on our list. So impressive there. Ruby's a female blue tick born in March of 2015, and like I said, owned by Lee Hogan of Rudolph, Wisconsin.
Sired by Grand Night Champion Sons of Squaw Creek's Blue Hank, and off of Grand Water Champion, Grand Night Champion, Grand Champion Hogan's Jazz HTX2. Bred by Lee Hogan, 55 Grand Champion wins on the dog, earned in April of 2021. So Hogan's Ruby has done a lot of winning in a lot of different formats or disciplines here. She's not just a show dog. So
actually made the Grand 16 a couple years ago with this dog.
Sure did.
Next dog here on the list is Field Champion, Water Champion, Grand Champion Hall of Fame, Jameson's Blue Tanker Lee. This is a male blue tick born in October of 2016, owned by Tucker and Toby Jameson of Arkport, New York.
Out of Bancroft's Blue Hunter, and the female, the dam is Bancroft's Wild and Blue Maddie, bred by Patrick Bancroft. And 44 Grand Champion wins here, earned in August of 2021 for Blue Tanker Lee.
Here's one here that was born before that 2010 cutoff, but a dog that was still active when we did it. We were able to, there was a couple of 2009 dogs that were still competing, although they were pretty old at the time, that we went ahead and pulled their wins in because they were still active.
Right.
Yep. And this is one of them here. Confirmation Champion, Grand Champion Hall of Fame, Kraut Creek Mighty Blue 8-Ball, a male born in October of 2009, owned by Robert Welch of Greenville, Ohio.
Yeah, Robert Welch, I'll tell you a little story after this, but the sire is Grand Champion, Grand Night Champion Meads Blue Jet 8, and the dam is Night Champion, Grand Champion Bingo's Mighty Blue Jammer Bell, bred by John Welling, 40 Grand Champion wins earned in December of 2021. But Robert Welch is a guy I always remember of being me being a master of hounds at an event. So I go to Hamilton one time, judge the bench show earlier in the afternoon, and he was there showing a dog. And those of you know who Robert is, you know he shows and he hunts both. He probably shows more than he hunts, but anyways, he comes there, and after the show, he's telling me he's been out hunting all night the night before. He's tired. He needs to sleep, and he wants to give me his hunt entry, and he's going to go sleep till it's time for the hunt. Well, I was a little reluctant, and I said, okay. I took his entry, stuck it in my briefcase. You know, several hours later, take all the entries and everything. We go to call out casts. I got everybody called out, and there's one guy standing in the clubhouse. There's Robert Welch. And I was like, oh, man, are you kidding me? I forgot to pull his entry out of my briefcase. I've never forgot that. And I don't know. It was just you know how you live and learn, you know, things that you do sometimes. But I think that's the only time I can remember that happening. But I always felt bad. I was like, man, and I didn't have a 4 or a 3 dog cast to put him on to, So
it saved you some steps that night, Robert.
Yeah. Every time I see him, I still remember that. It just comes back. Here, it did it again. See his name, and boom, that incident pops up again.
That's good stuff.
He's probably forgot about it, but I haven't.
He'll remember now.
Yeah, I don't know if he won or not, but hey, we got him in the hunt.
There you go. Next one on our list here is Grand Champion Hall of Fame RC Cold Mountain Blue Bonnie. That's a female blue tick born in June of 2019, owned by Mark and Walker Griffin of Canton, North Carolina.
Yeah, the dog is sired by Big Ticking Blue Delmar, and the dam is Bertha Blue, bred by Robert Parsons. 40 Grand Champion wins earned in April of 2022 for Blue Bonnie.
Next one here, we got Grand Champion Hall of Fame Kelly's Creek Dixie, a female born in March of 2017, owned by James Holmes of Charleston, West Virginia.
Yeah, sired by Grand Champion, Grand Night Champion Hall of Fame Blue Balling Rebel, and the dam is Kelly's Creek Bluebell, bred by James Holmes. 40 Grand Champion wins total earned in April of 2022.
Only a few more left here. Our next one we got is Field Champion, Confirmation Champion, Grand Water Champion, Grand Champion Hall of Fame, Lewis's Coons Doom Xena, female born in April of 2017, owned by Anthony and Amanda Lewis of Accident, Maryland.
Sired by Grand Night Champion Oppie's Rush Creek Spit, and the dam is Grand Champion Tree and Blue Black Betty Bam Lamb, bred by Russ Downing of Wisconsin. 42 Grand Champion wins. Earned the degree in May of 2022.
Got another Robert Welch dog here. Grand Champion Hall of Fame.
I got a story about Robert Welch. Okay, go ahead.
Can't wait to hear it. Grand Champion Hall of Fame. Kraut Creek Blue Tinkerbell. A female born in November of 2013, owned by Robert. Again, Greenville, Ohio. Robert.
Yeah, this dog is sired by Night Champion, Grand Champion Jet 8's Mighty Blue Dot Spot HTX, and the dam is Night Champion, Grand Champion Bingo's Mighty Blue Jammer Bell, bred again by John Welling. 40 Grand Champion wins earned in October of 2022 for Tinkerbell.
And as of, like I said, as of the end of February, whenever I ran this list, this was the last blue tick that achieved the Hall of Fame title here. The latest blue tick to achieve the Hall of Fame title, should I say. Grand Champion Hall of Fame, Forever Blue Tree Blowing Blake. This is a male blue tick born in September of 2016, owned by Renee Hawk of Sardinia, Ohio.
Yeah, sired by Grand Night Champion, Grand Champion Ammon's Midnight Ace, and the dam is Stull's Blue Hurricane Hannah, bred by Renee. And 42 Grand Champion wins earned in October of 2022 for Tree Blowing Blake.
So congratulations to all those folks. On the next episode, we'll probably start working through English and plots and red bones. I think we could probably knock out all 3 of those in one sitting, and then we'll finish it off with Walker. So
yeah,
we'll finish up our Grand Champion Hall of Fames over the next few Coonhound episodes that we do. So
yeah, it's kind of interesting looking back over this list. You know, some of the sires and dams that are also Hall of Fame dogs. You know, a couple of them in the night hunts, and we had one there in the field. Or the sire was a field the actual dog, one of Lee Hogan's dogs, a field champion Hall of Fame, and so yeah, pretty impressive.
Yeah, one thing that and I've just become so dependent on it are multiplier titles. At first some people may have thought, what's the point in it?
Yeah.
Maybe silly, what have you, but it's become something I lean when I see a dog with like a Grand Night Champion 3 or 5. It means to me that dog's been around and probably won in multiple different places. And same for a Grand Champion multiplier title. That's a dog that's seasoned, that's consistently winning, and it holds some merit and some weight for me when I see those multiplier titles.
Same thing for me when I see them. Yep.
Yeah. Alan, we both had Dogtra Pathfinder 2s now for a little while. What do you think about yours?
I'm liking mine. One of the things I had the opportunity to now download a map of an area where I did not have service, and I've used it there, and it has worked flawlessly. I love it.
Yeah, I love the crystal clear maps. I love that I never lose reception on my dog's collars anymore. Highly recommended by me as well. Dogtra Pathfinder 2, the official GPS collar partner of UKC. So the next thing we've kind of every now and then like to dedicate a little bit of time to our bench show folks out there, so they don't feel left out. We've been talking about TOC. Seems like over the past month or two, and today we wanted to park and talk about some bench show specific stuff. Now that we're done with the Grand Champion Hall of Fame stuff, and the first thing we want to talk about, we're just going to be talking to our judges today. To our bench show judges, we sure appreciate our bench show judges and all they do, and holding down the fort out there for us. Putting in the time and effort and sacrificing their time to judge shows. But we want to talk a little bit about maybe some the principles that UKC holds their judges to, and talk about some of the unwritten rules and unethical practices that you may see or want to avoid while you're out there. It's a big honor to be a UKC licensed judge. We hold them to a high standard. We consider it an honor for anybody who holds such, and just want to go over some things today for people to listen to and hear.
Yeah, we talk about this sometimes, and it's a big deal. Judging is a huge deal, and sometimes rules, especially when it comes to ethics and things like that, principles and ethics and things like that. It's really hard to write something that fits everything across the spectrum of our sports. The point I'm trying to make is it's a whole lot different at Autumn Oaks than it is at the Whitley County Coonhounders Club bench show. Let's say, for instance, if I'm judging, if I'm judging at Whitley County, a good chance everybody that's showing a dog there, I know everybody, and I probably hunted with most everybody, and most of them are probably my friends, so to speak.
Yeah.
Where it's nothing. Nobody looks at you sideways that they're showing their dogs under me. Come to Autumn Oaks or whatever, that's a different story sometimes. If it's somebody I hunt with or you're showing a dog or whatever, and then and rightfully so.
Right.
Rightfully so. And it's yeah, I'm glad we picked this topic, to kind of talk about that. And when we're talking about that, we are not targeting anybody specifically. It's just a time for us to kind of talk about this. And I think we're probably going to mention some things that most people don't even really think about sometimes. Yeah. But I think it's important that we do, and especially when we take these assignments for some of the major shows, and just some things that, like I said, we, most might not even think about. But maybe when the shoe's on the other foot, folks do, perception is huge. And right. I think that starting, for me, I've always kind of hit on the perception thing with any of the folks that have worked on our team, and things that don't look good. We should probably stay clear of that when right. we can. You can't control everything, but sometimes things that you you just do. You can certainly eliminate a whole lot of things, and judging is one of those. It's a subjective thing, but no. So I'm glad we're making this a topic today and talk about it a little bit. And like I said, it's. Hopefully we don't offend anybody by the things we're going to touch on here, and that's not the intent. Just we want our judges to think about some of these things,
Plant the seed.
It is.
And not just our judges, but maybe host clubs, associations.
Participants as well.
Think about it.
Yep, participants as well, and so everybody included, really. So, sometimes we get proposals, well, you need to have this in your rules about ethics or this and that, and like I said, it's just so hard to write something because of what's acceptable here is definitely not going to be acceptable here. and that may not make sense to some people until you've really been there, but so it's really hard to really write something that works across the board. But I think there's definitely some, so let's start with some guiding principles. And we have some of these outlined and posted on our website for judges. So guiding principles for UKC judges. You want to start with that maybe?
Yeah, just want to do some of the ones that you've highlighted here.
Yeah.
So under guiding principle for UKC judges, like I said, you can find it on our website there. The first highlighted section here that you wanted to point out and read out for everybody was, all UKC judges are expected to avoid any situations that may give the appearance of impropriety. If you have concerns that something could be interpreted or viewed as inappropriate, it is best to avoid the situation altogether. A UKC judge's reputation should be above reproach.
Yeah, and what does impropriety mean? It means it's something that's rude or offensive, or maybe it looks to be in bad taste is what that means, So if it looks bad, we just talked about it,
Yeah.
It's a good thing to stay away from, and especially at major shows, if it's something that, let's say, for instance, in the part that we were talking about a little bit, or mentioned participants as well, is if you're judging automokes or whatever, I as a participant, even though you haven't owned this dog, but this dog I have, maybe one that you bred or something like that, how's that going to look to, and especially if you pick this dog, how's that going to look to this other participant?
Yeah.
I shouldn't even put you in that position to begin with, and think about some of those things like that.
And we field calls like that sometimes where somebody's like, man, this person that's judging, I don't even know them. I'm 2 people down the line from buying this dog, but I'm wondering if I should show under it. The first thing I always think of, hey, if you're having to ask the question, maybe that's your answer right there. If you're having to question, there's some concern about it, then you're probably better off just sitting this one out. There's always going to be another show. There's always going to be another major event that you can go show to.
Yep.
The next one here is a big one. As social media has evolved, it's kind of become a shooting off spot for people to put all their feelings out there. But again, we hold our judges and our event officials, master hounds, all that to a higher regard, and we have these conversations with people all the time. But this, under the guiding principles here, this next highlighted section says your actions on social media and in public forums will also be regarded when determining your fitness to be a UKC judge.
Yeah. Those are things to certainly think about, and again, you can find this on our UKC website, under judges is where you're going to find that. But,
Next page you got here is talking about the code of ethics for judges. Do you want me to go through some of these highlighted sections you have here? The first one here says a judge should avoid impropriety of the appearance of impropriety in all activities. Irresponsible or improper conduct erodes exhibitor confidence. This applies to both professional and personal conduct.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that. It's kind of similar to what we talked about a little bit ago. But yeah, if it gives the appearance of impropriety, then stay away from it.
That's right.
That's your best thing.
Don't even put yourself in that situation.
Exactly.
Next section there said a judge should respect and comply with the rules and tenets of the United Kennel Club and should act always in a manner that promotes public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the registry.
That's right.
And the last one here that you have highlighted says, a judge should not allow family, social, political, financial, or other relationships to influence judgment. A judge should neither lend the prestige of their position to advance their own private interest, nor allow others to convey the impression that they are in a position to influence a judge's decision.
I think that's a big bite right there. Not allow others to convey the impression that they are in a position to influence a judge's decision. And there's just a lot to be said right there.
Yeah. So as we kind of transition, it's funny that this is coming up now. Always seems like this time of year we get a couple calls or maybe some emails discussing this kind of stuff. Actually, May of last year in the advisor column, I had pulled an old advisor column that you wrote. I think it was back in 2018 where you talked about some unwritten rules and coonhounds and some unethical practices as far as who to show under, who not to show under, what to avoid. And now here we are, almost a year to the day later, popping up. But now we have this avenue, and I think this is a really efficient avenue to spread this out to more judges.
Yeah, we hear it a lot of times when we talk about ethics and this and that. And a judge will say, well, I am just judging the dog. I am not looking at the handler. That's what you should be doing. That's what all judges should be doing that. But this is not about that. This has nothing to do with that. Sometimes it's just what it looks like. The whole perception thing is what if it doesn't look good, it's not about anything else other than that. If it doesn't look good, just stay away from it, especially and you know what? Sometimes if you're, I don't know, some programs that like Dog of the Year programs or something like that, if you are in the running for it, that's for most of the other competitors that are competing against you. If you're out there judging the shows and judging the same dogs that you're competing against, put the shoe on the other foot. What does honestly, it
could have crystal clear intentions.
Yep, exactly. What I mentioned about what I just talked about, well, all I'm doing is judging the dog.
Right.
Well, that really doesn't matter so much. That's not the problem. But yeah, and it's but I think sometimes I don't know, sometimes there will always be opportunities, and sometimes it's okay to turn down an honorable assignment.
Right.
It is, and sometimes that's just the right thing to do. And the other thing is sometimes some of the associations may not be aware of something that me as a judge might be aware of. Okay, if I judge their show for them, then this might come into play, and they're not even that's okay. You just, you don't need to make any explanations or anything, but sometimes it's the right thing to do just to turn down an assignment.
Right.
And it's maybe a hard thing to do. We all want to judge the big assignments and this and that, but yeah.
Yeah. So this basically what this article entailed and what we're going to talk about is just a few of the unwritten rules, should you say, or some things to think about, maybe unethical things that if you were in the other situation on the outside looking in, how would it look to you? So think about this next time you take a judging assignment or you go show under a judge.
Yeah, and these notes that you made are actually, things that we've got complaints about over the years, and they come up all the time, and that's why we're having this conversation, but yeah.
Right. And like you talked about earlier, these that we're going to be talking about, they're not written in the rule book. They're not violations in the rule book because, like you said, depending on the stage, some of these, there's different levels of competition out there and different, the local level compared to autumn oaks in the world, and just a different stage. So none of these.
I think this first one is now. I think at the time we wrote this,
yes.
I don't think it was. It might be. I think it is now. But anyways.
Yeah. So I just want to go through the introduction here real quick. None of these violate any written rule. However, many of them are unacceptable and directly violate ethical standards that should not require a written rule, especially when it comes to major shows. UKC greatly appreciates those judges and participants who take it upon themselves to eliminate the bad perceptions that come with some of the following. And the first one there, entering a dog housed by the judge that is registered in the name of their significant other.
Unacceptable by any measure. Yeah. I don't know who would think that is even acceptable, even at the local show, even at the local club. Stay away from that.
Next one, individuals entering dogs in major shows who are close friends with the judge.
And I feel most of the time, most of our judges that do judge the big shows, you see people withholding their dogs from that event, and we really appreciate that. Sometimes I know it's hard. Might not know where to draw the line, but like you mentioned a little while ago, if you have any question about it, really, there's probably your answer.
Yeah, I always find it funny after we announce our major event judges. Yeah. I always get a couple of emails or messages like, "Well, there goes my autumn oaks trip," or what have you. But hey, we appreciate people who can see the bigger picture.
We try to think of some things like that, and maybe sometimes we don't think of everything, but we certainly try to. Yeah.
Coaching from the sidelines.
Yeah, that's something. That's something that's always happened, and it's not an ethical thing to do, and you still see it. And
it's obvious.
And sometimes it's very obvious, and sometimes you just sit there and think, wow, look at that. That's no good.
Yeah. It says contacting and schmoozing major event judges before the event.
Yeah. Well,
it kind of goes without saying.
Yeah.
Excessive discipline to dogs during a show.
Yeah, it's, a show, that's a competition. It's not a training session when you're out there. Don't be smacking your dogs around and things like that, And
You never know who's watching.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And not just for that, that's not a training grounds. You're in the show.
Yeah. Next one here, individuals judging and showing on opposite days at the same major event.
Hey, this is a good one, because really what it does, and if you really think about it, it leads to pick me and I'll pick you theories and perceptions.
Yeah.
From the sidelines and other participants or whatever. But that's why we always try to, when we have like Autumn Oaks or the Winter Classic for that, is to ask them, hey, don't show a dog on the opposite days. And this is why, because it leads to that. And heaven forbid, maybe they have the best dog there or whatever, but here again, it's about the perception that gives. And it's kind of unsettling sometimes to other participants. And like we said, maybe you're judging at this show. Judge.
Right.
Not showing here.
Next one here is
again, not a rule, but it's all falls under ethical standards.
Right. Next one here, judge traveling to the show with a participant.
Heaven forbid that participant wins. My goodness, why do we even have to have this on here? But you know what? It's happening. That's a bad look when the judge pulls out and two guys or two walk around the backside and pull out a dog and they head up to the arena and one's judging, the other one's showing the dog. Yeah, that's the epitome of bad perception right there.
Yeah. Judges making negative comments publicly regarding dogs they have judged.
Yeah, such remarks have a way of getting around. Judges should always beware of their unbecoming off-the-field comments, so to speak, because things like that have a way of coming around,
Yeah.
If you want to talk about dogs, talk about good dogs you judge. Don't talk the smack about dogs at whatever.
That's right. Dog entered in the show where the judge is the breeder, previous owner, or co-owner could open the door for ridicule and is easily perceived as the judge making a biased selection if they were to pick that dog.
Yeah, oftentimes that leaves a participant feeling like their dog didn't get a fair shake in the show, if that's something that happens. But yeah.
Event organizers entering dogs in the show. Obviously, feel like you put some pressure on the judge in that instance. If you do that.
Yep. Gives the impression that a participant is selecting their own judge for personal reasons, and that's yep.
And the last one that we have here, bullet pointed, is judges suggest to owners that they enter their dog in a show that they're judging.
Yeah, I get that sometimes. If you're judging a big show, you know some of the nice dogs around the country, and you hope maybe you get to judge them, put your hands on them, and this and that maybe, and you have no ill intentions. But it is never a good look to suggest to an owner, hey, make sure I'm judging the show. Make sure you bring your dog or this or that. That's nothing good comes of that. Don't do that. That's not. Yeah. So.
Yeah, so those are kind of our discussion there about bench show judges and some of the unwritten rules. We talked about a code of ethics, different things. You can all find all this stuff on our website. It's an old advisor column, and I think it's just a good talking point, if nothing else, that plants the seed for our judges out there, our participants out there, and some of our associations and us whenever we're making judge selections. A lot goes into that. Don't do it without really thinking it through first.
Yeah, and we don't want to get too deep in the weeds with it either. We just want to be reasonable. We ask that people be reasonable in their thoughts and theories with it. But yeah. So good topic. Good.
Well,
topic.
As always, we appreciate you guys listening. I got a busy travel season here coming up. Hope to see you guys at a lot of events, and hopefully we'll get a lot of good content out there for you guys. But until next time, safe travels and happy hunting. Thank you for listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. Be sure to give us a follow so you don't miss any of our new episodes or content.